Leader of the Official Opposition.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. One of my fondest memories from my early years is of a fishing trip I made with my dad once to the west coast of Scotland. We went out in a dory with a local fisher, and in no time at all we had caught enough cod, haddock, plaice, sole, flounder to fill our freezer. I now, of course, live in a different continent at a different time, and the vast majority of fisheries the world over are no longer healthy, and they're no longer abundant with stocks. I could not do what I did that day in Scotland today, whether it was in Scotland or here on Prince Edward Island. Once upon a time, the size of the catch that you could haul was limited by the number of boats that you could put in the water. Now it's limited by the number of fish in the sea. And that number in far, far too many stocks in every ocean globally is in steep decline. The loss of balance between humans and the rest of nature is no more evident than in the oceans, where the UN Food and Agriculture Organization has estimated that fully 2/3 of the world's fish stocks are either fished to their limit or overfished. In April of this year, the Canadian Department of Fisheries and Oceans announced new regulations to the Fisheries Act, which compel plans to rebuild depleted stocks when they reach a certain critical zone in order to avoid a repeat of the environmental, the economic and social catastrophe which was, and by the way still is, the collapse of the northern cod fishery in Newfoundland and Labrador. DFO, of course, also recently ordered the closure of the spring mackerel and herring fishery here on the east coast, putting in peril access for thousands of island fishers to bait that they desperately need for the lobster fishery. Countless island families and dozens of island communities depend on a stable and predictable fishery, and changes to any part of the delicate marine ecosystem, whether that be acidification or warming of the waters or overfishing, threaten our province's future well-being. This is not primarily a story about loss of fish. It's a story about loss of connection. If we want our children to inherit a world where they can live full, healthy and happy lives, we must reclaim and embrace that connection to nature. My grandson, when he comes to visit us here on Prince Edward Island, won't ever be able to create the same sorts of memories that I talked about as a young boy in Scotland, and that makes me deeply sad. Every news story about a species in trouble must come as a clarion wake-up call to us all to review our relationship to this beautiful world and to better honour and protect her diversity and splendour. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.